Okay, it's 8 o'clock. I'm going to get started because I've got a few introductory remarks and we're recording this. We'll post it so anybody who hops on can always catch up later. So I'm Stephanie. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 2025 Unbridled Women Adventure Race. I'm super excited to be hosting you all again at the Parklands of Floyd's Fork. I think you'll agree with me that it's world-class green space. And I just want to say thanks to 21st Century Parks, who operates Parklands. They're stewards of this series of parks along Floyd's Fork. And I want to thank them for being so accommodating and opening their playground to us. $25 of every entry fee will be donated to the Parklands, and each of you will receive in exchange a one-year membership to the Parklands. So enjoy that. It has some nice little perks with it. Along with the $1,500 that we pay to host the race here, our total donation to the Parklands from this year's event is $2,500. So I'm super proud of that. I've been a member of the Parklands for the last 6 years, and I'm happy we're able to support their mission in such a big way with this race. So thanks to all of you for making that possible. Also, thanks for making possible this race, all of the amazing volunteers who come together to make sure the weekend goes smoothly. You'll see them all over the course, so be sure to give them a smile and a thanks for being out there. Especially heavy in my mind right now are Karen and Myra, who really are my right and left hands for this race. Myra has helped me find local EMTs every year. She makes our awards every year. She helps vet the course and all the materials. Karen has helped us in the past with getting sponsors to donate swag, and she comes out and vets the course. She and I vetted the course together this past Saturday, and she and Myra both vetted all of our materials and the maps and all of that, and certainly made some tweaks and changes based on their input. So many thanks to them. Without their quality control on the race, it wouldn't be nearly the high quality product that I hope you all will experience. So big thanks to them and everybody else. I'll introduce all of our other volunteers on Saturday. So our EMT on the course this Saturday is going to be a dude. We couldn't get any of our women. We thought that Miles was going to be coming back, but she got called into work. So she was nice enough to find someone to replace her, and that's going to be Joe. So Joe Goodlet, if you have a serious medical emergency, of course, we want you to call 911. If you're able to call Joe after that, call Joe. If you're able to call me after that, call me. Obviously, 911's first. Joe's cell number and my cell number will be on your course instructions. Obviously, leave no trace. We want you to leave the park as clean as you found it, or cleaner. I'll give you extra tickets for door prizes if you bring back someone else's trash that you picked up off the course. And while I'm thinking of that, because I think I didn't put it anywhere else in the briefing, so let me mention it right now. The other way that you get tickets for door prizes this year is we will have a selfie challenge. There are, I think, 6 different, think of it like a scavenger hunt, but you're looking for things and you're going to take a team selfie in front of that thing. And so there are 6 of those that are listed in your course instructions. And so some of them are a very particular location in the Parklands. Some of them are more general. Like I'll tell you, one of them is any one of the bike CPs. So you just need to take a selfie of your team in front of the bike CP. Don't worry that it's, some of them are like specific locations. You may go, okay, should we get the thing or the sign for the thing? It doesn't matter. It's just about having fun and getting pictures of your team out on the course, and you're going to get a ticket for a door prize. So don't stress over the background too much. If I can tell that you were generally in that area, that's going to be good enough. And so there are 6 of those. So for each one of those selfies that you bring back of your team, everyone on your team will get a ticket for a door prize. So having a little fun with door prizes this year, that's how you're going to get tickets for those. And the door prizes are also awesome, handmade by Myra. They're these really cool black like laundry bags. Well, we're calling them laundry bags. You can use them for whatever you want. They're basically like backpacks, really lightweight with this mesh on them, and they're big. So our idea was that you put your, stinky race clothes in them afterwards, but they've got our logo on them and they say a little dirt, a lot of fun are the door prize ones. And then for the winners, they say a little dirt, a lot of winning. So they're super cute. And thanks to Myra for making those. Make sure you get some door prize tickets because you're going to want one. They're awesome. While I'm talking about things you're going to want, things to work for, let me also show you this year's finisher medal. They are bottle openers, little metal bottle openers that have our little logo. And look at that, awesome. Isn't that ribbon fabulous? So this is Stride Awards, has been making our medals for us the last few years, and they came up with this design for us and did an awesome job. They're a partner with USARA, and I'm really pleased with the job they did, and they were super great working with us to find something that fit our budget after the tariffs increased all the prices. So thanks to Stride Awards. And that's what you're working for Saturday, pride and a really glorious finisher's medal. So make sure that you make it back under your own power so you can take one of those home with you. And you'll have no problem doing that. This is a very achievable course for everybody. It's, we put this out there as a beginner-friendly race, and it is. I mean that. It super is. Totally expect the top team to clear the course probably in 5 to 5.5 hours. So, if clearing the course is at all in your sights, that gives you an idea of what we think the top teams can probably do it in. Okay, so a few little details as far as the paddle goes. You should have some good water this year to paddle, so we're excited about that. Karen and I had a great time on the river last Saturday. You may bring your own PFDs and paddles. We'll put those in a vehicle at the start. We'll transport those for you to the put-in. We'll bring them back from the takeout, so you don't have to carry those. Feel free to bring your own, and we'll transport those for you. No food or drink in your PFDs, or if you use a paddle bag, just to keep it fair for folks who are using the rentals and won't be able to stage food and drink. The rentals are the standard one size fits most orange PFDs and canoe paddles. Let's see, water and toilets. There are flush toilets and water at the Cliffside Center, which is beside our start finish by the Woodland Pavilion. Also, the Brown-Forman Silo Center, you'll be going past there. There's flush toilets and water there. There are portalettes at every TA and really every major trailhead parking area in the parklands. Plenty of places to use the restroom at the parklands. Make sure you stay hydrated, take in electrolytes throughout the race. We will have, I'll have a jug of water at a TA that you hit about midway through the race, in addition to the water fountains at Cliffside Center and Brown-Forman Silo Center. So make sure you get water every chance, every time you go past a place to refill, because it's going to be hot and it's going to be humid and you're going to sweat a lot. So make sure you stay hydrated. That's really the only thing we've called on an EMT for since we've been at the parklands, is someone who had heat stress, and she had it pretty bad. She got toasted. So that actually makes me think of another point. Yeah, so this race can be a little bit deceptive. The venue's super beginner friendly. The biking you all will be doing is going to be primarily on paved trail. There is opportunity to go do single track. You're allowed to drop your bikes and go get the single track points on foot. That might be a strategy, especially if you're not comfortable on single track. But so because the biking is paved, I think people tend to underestimate it. It's still fairly hilly. I mean, this is a hilly area. So this is not, if you've been on, a super flat paved bike trail like a rail trail, this is not that. This is still fairly hilly. They're not horrible. The hills don't last forever. They're not super steep. Like, I can ride them, And I'm not a great cyclist. Some of you might be pushing them, and that's okay too, but they're not awful, but they just there's a lot of them. So whether it's on foot or on bike, if you're the stronger, faster teammate, keep checking in with your teammates. Don't wear them out going up these hills, because you end up being like the team that we called the EMT for a few years ago, where they finished the climb up to the Brown-Forman Silo Center and they pushed it too hard. And, one of the teammates basically had heat stress, and they went from being one of the top 2 teams in the race to dropping out of the race entirely. Right. So, check in with your teammates. If you're the fast one motoring up the hill, dial it back a notch or 2 and make sure you're not pushing your teammates beyond their capacity and what they're going to be able to sustain for 6 hours. Okay. So just a word to the wise. I'm the one who's always in back. So actually, let me give you some advice too. Coming from someone who also is the one always in back. Don't sit back there and try to be a hero, not saying, hey, you all need to dial it back, right? If you feel like you're pushing way harder than you're going to be able to sustain for 6 hours, let your teammates know early. Don't feel like I'm the one who's going to let them down. I'm the one who's always slowest and behind, whatever. Just tell them, say, look, if we're going to finish this race as a team, and that's the only way you can finish, y'all are going to have to dial it back a notch, because this is pushing me past my limit. So don't be afraid to speak up if you're one in the back. And if you're one in the front, you need to be pulling that teammate along and helping her, not leaving her at the bottom of the hill. So words of wisdom there accumulated over many years of being on both ends of that. Okay. So the maps that you will get, you're going to get 2 11x17 sheets. They're double-sided. They're waterproof. So on one side of both of those is basically the Parkland's map. So you'll have a map that looks like this of Broad Run Park. You can find this on their website. And a map of Turkey Run Park. You can find that on their website. And so these are just sort of your big overview maps that will be helpful in identifying trail names, road names, quickly seeing if a trail is a bike trail versus a hike trail, that sort of thing. So the main park features, you'll have those, and the checkpoints will be marked on there as well. So you won't even have to transpose that. And then you will also be getting, on the flip sides of those, there will be a topo map that has the entire course on it. That topo map will be at a scale of 1 to 15,000. So 1 centimeter equals 150 meters, right? That will have all of the points marked on it. And then the other 4th side will be an orienteering map of one of the areas that you'll be in. That orienteering map is at a very generous scale of 1 to 4,000, which means, yeah, you can see everything. So for people with bad eyes like me, you're welcome. 1 to 4,000 means 1 centimeter on the map is 40 meters. So just bear in mind, you're going to get to everything fast, right? So it's this huge map, but it's really not a huge area. You're going to get to everything super fast. So keep that in mind when you get that 1 to 4,000. That's as big a scale as you get, basically. So you'll have those 4 maps with the course, and then you'll have a set of course instructions that's a single 8.5 by 11 sheet, also on waterproof paper, double-sided. So those are the things that you will get at the start of the race. Check-in will start at 8 o'clock Saturday morning. You'll get maps and course instructions at 9 o'clock. As far as staging goes, you'll be dropping your paddle gear at a truck right there by the pavilion. Your bikes will be staged by the pavilion as well. Okay, so you can't leave your bikes with your car. You're going to stage your bikes, even though it's not very far from your car, and I understand that. You'll get it why we're having you stage them where we're having you stage them. But you'll basically be staging them near the pavilion, but you can't leave them at your car. So be prepared to leave your bikes, staged. You can leave your helmet whatever else you want to in your cars, but you're going to put your bikes in a particular place near the pavilion. And when I say near, I'm talking about like steps away, literally. Okay, so that's it. Nothing else will be staged. So checkpoints. The only mandatory checkpoints on the course are TAs 2 through 4. I might have, yeah, mandatory points are TAs 2 through 4. That's it. Everything else on the entire course is optional. So as long as you basically move through the legs of the course and visit those TAs and finish under your own power, fabulous finisher medal for you. Okay. Finishers will be ranked first according to points, how many points you got, and then according to time. So if you get 20 points, you'll place ahead of a team who gets only 19 points, even if that team returns to the finish line earlier than you did. Okay. So you will punch, and this part will be in your instructions as well, but I just kind of want to emphasize it because it's a little unusual. You're going to punch in at TA1. All of the other TAs, you're only going to sign in, but you need to make sure you sign in. So signing in for the TA is how you're going to get credit for that TA. The only reason I'm not having you punch in at every TA is because we've got so many CPs that we used up all of our units. So I couldn't have units for the TAs, or I would. So that's the only reason that it's a little different. But TA1 will have a punch. We'll show you where it is when you get there. All of the other TAs, you'll just sign in, but make sure you sign in because that's how you're going to get a point for those TAs. There are a lot of CPs on the course, a lot more CPs than there are points. And that's because some of the CPs are grouped. So if you visit all the CPs in a group, you're going to get the points allocated to that group. So there are a total of 22 points, including the TAs and the finish. I'm not telling you how many checkpoints. I haven't even added it up. There's a bunch. So let's see, the legs, you need to complete the legs in the order specified in your course instruction. Once you've checked into the TA after a given leg, you can't go back and visit any more CPs from that leg. So for example, none of the CPs from leg 2 can be visited after you've checked into TA3 and proceeded on to leg 3. You may not visit a checkpoint by any mode of transportation other than that specified for the given leg, except it is permissible to drop your bikes and go after a bike CP on foot. So be sure you have your bike lock with you. That's listed on mandatory gear, and that's part of the reason. You know, it's been raining a lot. It's kind of stopped, but it's still been off and on so much rain down there that the trails are probably going to be still pretty wet by Saturday. And so, you know, it may make sense for you to drop bikes in certain places and run in and out on the bike trails. You're allowed to do that. Also, you'll see that on your maps, some of the single track bike trails are one way. And so for those that have a one-way restriction, there's an arrow on your map to denote that. If you're on your bikes, you need to follow that restriction, right? If you're on foot, you don't need to. And again, that's all in your course instructions as well. But just know it's okay to drop your bikes and get bike points on foot. You just can't get foot points on bike or paddle points by bike. You also can't visit a CP from any other leg while on a given leg. Okay, so what you're going to be looking for out there, we've got 2 types of markers. They are standard orienteering flags. Standard orienteering flags at all of the checkpoints. There will be one section where we've got these cute little mini 6-inch orienteering flags. So either the minis or the full-size orienteering flags is what you're looking for. At each one of those, there will be an electronic timing unit with a code on it. Your clue sheet will have both the CP number and the code, so you can be sure you're at the right location. you check in at those electronic timing units using your timing chip. So every team will receive one Sport Ident timing chip during our final team check-in. That will be 10 minutes before the race starts. So be sure you have like a small carabiner or some method for clipping that timing chip to your pack. There will be a little leash on the timing chip. Have something on you that you can easily clip that onto your pack so that you don't lose it. You want to make sure you've got that good and secure. So you punch the electronic timing unit with your timing chip to log your visit at that CP. And I'm going to show you really quickly how that is done for people who haven't used Sport Ident timing before. Give me 1 second, and this is going to be super quick for those of you who know it. Don't worry, we won't belabor the point. These are the electronic units. These are what they look like. Here's the code on it that tells you you're at the right one. So for example, you know, CP8 would have code 31 on it. So when you get to that unit, you check that code 31 matches the CP you're at, you know you're in the right spot. This that he's holding in his hand is the little chip that he's going to put in this little timing unit. See that? No. Yeah. You don't need to do that. The whole point of what he's telling people here is you don't need to hold it in and let it beep, 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 flash, flash, flash. One beep, one flash, you're good to go. If you accidentally hold it in there a little longer and you get 2 beeps, that's okay. But what you don't want to do is just keep on hammering that thing, take it out, do it again, take it out, do it again, because there's a limit to the number of punches you can hold on those chips. So you don't want to exceed the number of punches that the chip will hold. So put it in there, 1 beep, 1 flash, you're good to go. If you go, ooh, did I punch it? I'm not sure. It's okay to punch it a second time. We've got, you know, there are some extras on there. It's just not unlimited. Okay. Oops, hang on, I got that guy again. I got to get the guy out of the way. Okay, so that's how we'll time it. There will be, so you'll be getting 2 different chips over the course of the race. It's 1 timing chip per team. You'll have sort of your main race chip, which is what you will get 10 minutes before the race starts. You'll download that chip 1 time during the race. So there's going to be an orienteering course embedded in the race. And the orienteering course, you will have to do those points in order, just like a standard orienteering course. And this is the one where the points are grouped. So for this orienteering course, there are 19 controls plus the finish. So a total of 20, right? Those are broken down into 4 groups of 5. And so you have to visit every control within a group to get the point for that group. And you have to do those in order. So if you do all 4 groups, you will be doing this just like a regular orienteering course. You'll go 1 through 19 and hit the finish, and you will have gotten all of the points for the group. The points for the groups are 1 point for group 1, which is points 1 through 5, 1 point for group 2, which is points 6 through 10, 2 points for group 3, which are points 11 through 15, and 1 point for the 4th group, which is 16 through the finish, right? So basically, if you clear the whole course, you get 5 points, right? So that's how the orienteering course is going to work. You have to do the groups in order. You can skip a group. If you wanted to skip group 2 and go on to group 3, or more likely, if you wanted to skip group 3 and go directly to group 4, you could do that. So you could do group 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, and get points for the groups that you did, but not the one you skipped. Amy, have you got a question? Unmute yourself and ask.
What if we only want to do group 3? Then I'll just get the points. Can you just do 1 group?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, you can do that. As long as you get all the points in a given group, you'll get the points for that group. The caveat is, Any that you skip, you have to skip in order, right? So the groups that you do, you must do in order. Okie doke. And you know, I will tell you that for most teams, getting all of the points on the orienteering course is going to make sense. If you're not sure about your navigation, or you know, your goal is not to go out and clear the course, your goal is to just go out and have fun, then probably the group that you will skip will be group 3, which is the group worth 2 points. And the reason it's worth 2 points is that that group are the farthest and the most difficult. They're still not super difficult, but you know, they're more difficult than the others for sure. So it'll make sense when you see the map. You'll understand if your team is thinking about what points are we going to drop off this course, you'll look at it and immediately go, oh, let's drop group 3 maybe. It might make more sense to drop other points on the course somewhere, but as far as the orienteering course goes, that would be the obvious group to drop, and you'll see it when you see how the points are laid out. Okay, so when you finish that orienteering course and you come back, you will download your chip then. So you'll download your chip at the end of the orienteering course. After you've downloaded it, we will clear it and you'll be reset on that chip. So you'll just have that one same chip for the orienteering course and all of the rest of the race course. The second chip that you get will be for the maze. So we're also going to have Bruce Moore's orienteering maze, which is super, super fun. When you get to the maze, we will take your primary race chip and give you a different chip. And actually, you'll all get a different chip. You're all going to do the maze together this time. So all team members will have a different maze map, but you'll all go out at the same time. So if you're a team of 3, all 3 of you will get your own chip for the maze, and you'll all set off on 3 different maps and do the maze at the same time. And then you'll download your chip at the end of the maze. You'll get your points for the maze. We'll give you back your primary race chip. Okay, does that make sense? All right. And anybody else, feel free to jump in and ask a question, raise your hand, whatever. Okay. So you may not travel on or along Broad Run Parkway or Turkey Run Parkway, which is also known as Stout Road. These are basically the main roads running through the park, right? The driving roads running through the park. The beautiful thing about Parklands is you've got this gorgeous paved bike trail called the Louisville Loop that runs through the whole thing. You've got all of these hiking trails, lots of other biking trails. There is zero reason to be on the roads. And that's part of the reason we're here. So don't get on them. And that means going through parking lots, any of that. There's no reason to do that. There's always a trail that will get you where you need to go. Make sure you're using the trails, either a paved trail or a dirt trail, but you should not be on roads unless, like I said, you're crossing at a designated crossing. You also may not bike on a trail marked for hiking only. So the Wild Hyacinth Trail is the primary one where this would be an issue, because it's kind of embedded in some of the biking trails. So make sure that you are not biking on any trail designated for hiking only. And on the topo map that you've got, the hiking trails are in solid black. I've made the biking trails like a blue dash, and the hiking trails are solid black. The Louisville Loop is a solid purple. And then there's another paved bike trail that I did purple dots, just so you know it's paved. And that legend is all on the maps. So it should be super clear. If you get your maps and it is not clear to you, what are the roads versus the Louisville Loop, let me know. I do not want to have to penalize a team because they were biking on the road and didn't understand what the Louisville Loop was, okay? So ask me if it's not clear to you. You need to wear your helmet at all times while you're on your bikes. You need to wear your PFDs at all times while on the water. You need to be back at the finish by 4 p.m. You lose one checkpoint for crossing the finish line after 4 p.m. and another, and actually I shouldn't say checkpoint. You lose 1 point for crossing the finish line after 4 p.m. and another point every 5 minutes after that you're late. So if you finished at 4:04:57, you would lose 1 point. If you finished at 4:05:01, you would lose 2 points. And your finish time will be the time you punch the finish unit, which will be there on the table in the pavilion. Okay. Let me look at my course instructions here and see if there was anything else that I wanted to super highlight. So the orienteering course, I've already told you, you need to visit those points in order on the orienteering course. The maze, you will do the points in the maze in order. Outside of that, any of the other legs, you can visit the points within that leg in any order, right? Legs go in order, orienteering and maze in order. Everything else can be whatever order you want. That's all in the course instructions as well. Let's see. Yeah, I was right about 6 on the selfie challenge. And I think that's all I've got. Are there any questions? Going once. Going twice.
I have a quick question.
Yeah, go ahead, Sharon.
Hi, Stephanie. Thanks for organizing us again. I'm just curious if you can give us a rough estimate of like how many miles maybe trekking or biking or kayaking, if you could do that.
Yeah, so for trekking, you're looking at like 6 to 7 miles of trekking, and this is to clear it. About 6 to 7 miles of trekking, and biking, you're looking at like 12 to 14, and paddling is about 2.
So similar. Great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a question, Stephanie.
Yeah.
For the maze portion, does every team member need to complete the maze in order to get points for the maze?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you have to complete it and you have to do it successfully. You can go back and do it as many times as you want to get it right. But yeah, so with the maze, best strategy definitely is, be careful. Don't go faster than don't let your feet go faster than your brain, because you don't want to have to go back and do the whole thing over again. And, and it's not super long. I actually haven't asked Bruce how long it is, but, typically people take, 8 to 10 minutes, something like that, to do the maze. So it's not like it's a huge loss if you have to go do it over again, but your teammate's going to be tapping their toes if you do that, because at each one you can check and make sure you're at the right control, right? So you just have to check your control code and make sure you've gone to the right one before you punch it. Yeah. Jessica.
I have a question. Yes, sorry. This is my team's first adventure race, and we're taking the word beginner very seriously. So we're just excited to do it and going to go in with a great attitude. But in reality, we are probably not going to complete the race. We're not going in with negativity. We're just going in with reality. You just shared mileage. Is there any way you'd give me a rough idea of if I was just going for the TA points where I just wanted to get my participation medal?
Yeah.
So that I'm not quite as scared?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, you could, the 2 primary distances that you need to think about that you're going to have to cover are going to be the paddle, which is 2 miles.
Okay.
And then there's going to be a trek that is about 5K is like the least amount you could do it. So you're talking about.
Oh, and that's okay.
3 miles.
I got a little nervous when you said potentially 7 miles and 14 miles.
No, so there's going to be a trek of about 5K, and then you would need to bike 2 miles.
We want to attempt more, but we really want our participation. We want to be proud of ourselves for succeeding. So I just needed something that wasn't quite as scary as your original numbers. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, it's the basic amount that you're going to want to do, to be able to finish the course and know that you've had a great day out there. It's super achievable. Anybody who entered this 6-hour race thinking they could go out and do something for 6 hours will be able to finish this race. It's just a question of how you allocate your energy. And the main thing is just remember, when you decide in the first leg, for example, how much you're going to try to go get in that first leg, just remember that there's going to be a leg later where you're going to have to trek for sure 5K. So
That's good feedback. Thank you.
Yep.
I have another question.
Yeah.
You didn't mention it. Just want to make sure we're not plotting any points on the map, are we?
No, you're not. That's correct. All the points will be on your map already.
Thanks.
Yep, you're welcome. And people who have done this race in the past, sometimes I'll have some little navigation type team challenges, like a compass test or pace counting or plotting, something like that. I don't have any of those little separate navigation challenges this year. I figure with the orienteering course and the maze, you're going to have all of that you want. And we have the selfie challenge.
Another question.
Yeah.
Will there be a prologue? I'm assuming. No? No? Okay.
Nope. Shaking it up this year.
Yeah. Keeping us on our toes.
I know, doing things a little different. Anything else?
Not jinxing us, but Saturday looks like there's potential for unhappy clouds. I'm assuming that this is a rain regardless, and it would just be severe weather. Okay, good with that. Just trying to understand because I haven't done one of these. Don't know
Yeah.
how it works.
Yeah, no, we go in the nastiest stuff, Jessica.
So based on that, if there is like storms, then we're still good because we're just adults and we'll figure it out. I'm okay with that. I just want to know the rules.
Yeah, I haven't seen a race called for storms yet. They would have to be like super, super bad.
Okay, I'm
If
in.
we've got lightning striking super close, we're not going to put you out on the water, right? For that, we would keep you off the river. But I mean, it'd have to be like pretty dang on top of it.
Worse than Hurricane Helene, right?
Yeah, right. I mean, we did nationals last year. We started nationals practically in a hurricane. So yeah, heavy rain, that is not anything that's going to stop us. Now, obviously, if the water level
Rain
rises
gear.
quickly, we're not going to put you on the river, right? But that would be the one, potentially if we had to, cancel the paddle because of weather. And again, it's a danger issue and not a comfort issue. I expect you to be uncomfortable. All right. Anything else? Everybody do your anti-rain, anti-storm dances, whether it's, I don't know, crossing your fingers or praying or whatever it is you do. Do it. Do it, because I really want you all to have, when I went out and flagged this course a couple of weeks ago, I think it was Memorial Day weekend, maybe, like the one sunny, beautiful Saturday we had all year. And it was so gorgeous. And I just kept thinking to myself, oh, I wish racers would have this. But I know you're not, because I got it. If I had gotten the nasty, I would have been buying you all a pretty sunny day, but it didn't work out that way. And I was totally ready to do it. I would have taken the nasty for you, but I don't have any control over it. All right. We all good? Very good. All right. So if you think of any questions, of course, feel free to shoot me an email. You're welcome, Jennifer. Thank you all for showing up. And all of you, you know, bringing newbies to the race. Thank you. I'm so happy about that. And really, really glad to see women out there coming to this sport. So I will see you Saturday. Safe travels, everybody.